We are alive. We continue the discussion today of healthcare in America. Is for those uninsured Americans. Welcome to America, and everything's on live uh, delayed, so it gives me a chance to respond to your questions. I'll put it up on the screen. And especially we concerned with the booster vaccine used as a flu shot, and that it seems to me that is the only alternative for us to participate outside the insurance industry. And I'm working at the office today, so trying to catch up on the paperwork. But this stream will be, let's see, Thailand time. It's about 9 o'clock at night. So maybe uh, some people will join us.
Bullying is also on the rise in many countries around the world and has recently spread rapidly during the coronavirus pandemic. How can we create a world without
I'll put this up.
Welcome to Global Agenda. I'm Yamamoto Miki. It's back to school season for the
Yeah,
richest.
I got the NHK running this morning
And that means
in the
bullying will
Sky
become an
News,
even
the
bigger
British
concern.
news.
According to the United Nations Children's Fund, more than one-third of students between the ages
And
of 13 and 15,
Thai
or about 130
PBS.
million children, say they've experienced some form of bullying.
Excuse me for a
The
moment
pandemic
while
is not
I
helping
get
either.
my iPad
Cases
out.
of cyberbullying are rising at an unprecedented pace. So why is it so difficult to eradicate bullying despite our best efforts? And what more can we do to create a future without bullying? I'd like to discuss all of that with our 5 distinguished guests today. First, from Philly, Dr. Christina Salmi Valley, professor of psychology at the University of Turkey. She's developed an anti-bullying program that's been implemented in schools across Europe and beyond. From India, we have Dr. Anuta Murawatan,
NHK is discussing bullying, which is unfortunately during a digital age, you can't escape from it.
Next, from the United States, is Baby Houston, coordinator at an NGO called Research National Bullying Prevention Center. She provides support.
Got my coffee ready, all ready to go.
And is also active in dealing with cyberbullying. And we also have 2 guests from Japan. First, Mr. Sunawa Yuji is the co-founder of
But as it was discussed yesterday, there's an economic term it seems to slip my mind, but the market will charge you based on supply and demand. But those metrics doesn't work on the bottom 20% of the uninsured population.
Thank you all for joining us today. First, I'd like to ask all
And I'll give you, for example, I bought some water at Walmart online during their app, that store number 4555. And it's normally $4 or $5 for a gallon of spring water. They charged me $35 a gallon of water. I wouldn't pay attention to the price. I just uh, went through the checkout and everything, and paid it. And then when you realize you paid $35 for a $5 product, you carry it back to the store thinking that you can return it. Wrong. They studied the supply and demand too, and they're very good at it. And it says I bought it through an app with a third party. You've got to contact them for a refund. Go figure. I mean, you cannot. I hate to say trust, but that's the only word that comes to my mind. You cannot trust anything in America. You got to follow up every little detail. I mean, it's getting more and more difficult with the AI. The AI looks around for every penny to make you charge you for everything. Like I said, the President Biden yesterday approved uh, one company, Pfizer, for the booster shot, but doesn't approve Madonna uh, for their booster shot or Johnson. And it's it depends on the survival of the fittest. Uh, that's why we're on the uh, YouTube channel, because that's the only way you can get the uh, uh, air out your grievances. And that the only one that I come to think of was the flu shot. Normally is in October, but for the Delta variant, it's got everybody in the world, including Thailand, that dominant strain. And and yet the hoops that they make only successful companies go through. You got to have a company with lots of accountants to be successful. In America, you, you have to be on your own, and no one in America has a job. All small businesses have 1099 employees only. That means they pay the taxes, they pay the insurance, and you responsible for everything. That's why it's bigger than the 20% that the economist puts out. Well, I think the have and have nots is basically split down the middle, 50-50. Anyway, that's my thoughts. I will wait for your thoughts.
Personal story to tell. Could you share with us a bit about the bullying you experienced and how it affected your life? Is there any situation largely self-centered between the object of bullying mainly because of my nationality and because I was different from everybody else. In particular,
Oh,
it was nationality and religion. We also differs depending on the country you're from. And that makes your bond odor different as well.
get my
We
tea
notice the difference, and instead of being interested in the different
from Thailand. By the way, Thailand is won the award
and feel a bit
for
strange
the
about it.
2020,
And that
the year of the
results in
pandemic,
more
for the best
or really
green
another way
tea,
to make fun of them.
and it beat out Japan, which is normally number one. Taiwan was
Even developing the
their
tolerance. In the case of
Taiwan,
internet
Japan,
bullying, the perpetrator can see the
and
bullies and thinks,
now
oh, I'm hitting this person.
Thailand is number one for the green tea matcha.
As a result, now every single bully is forced to
That's
constantly
good
clean
news
house. Bullies are affected by words never disappear, no matter what age you are. And
because
this
having
isn't
worked
some
in
exercise
Japan,
in overruling.
I mean,
It's the reason why I don't want
uh,
children to experience that.
they can
And I
take care of
know
their citizens. I know
that
there's some
you are a very courageous
homeless in
person
Japan
to
that can't
help
fit
me
in
speak
the rules
about
that
your
they
experience so that
that
others
they
can
make you jump through, but most of the Japanese jump through the hoops very good.
as we just heard, bullying is a global issue, and countless children are suffering from it every single day, even now as we speak. I would like to discuss why bullying is not going away. But first, let's look at our case in Japan and a tragic outcome.
Come on. Oh, I can do it.
In March of this year, a 14-year-old
I
girl
don't have
in a northern Japanese town
another.
committed suicide. She was later found frozen to death, alone in a street park.
I forgot to bring my mini iPod. That's okay.
According to her mother,
I
Saya was
got
called outside
phone.
in the middle of the night by senior students and cried as she left home. She told her mother, "I want to die." The girl's mother suspected she was being bullied and consulted with school officials. However, according to her, they said, "These things happen all the time in adolescence." It was just a prank, and the school took no action, saying the perpetrators had a future too. Following Saya's death, the city's Board of Education set up a third-party committee.
But some of you asked
Full
me
investigation is
when you're
underway.
going to retire. Yeah, I'm part of the have-nots in America. That I'm never going to retire,
Such a sad story, Mr. Smith.
unfortunately.
Yet Alphavon had missed the opportunity to save her. From this and other cases, what can you say about why bullying persists in Japan?
In the video, you saw an example from Japan. In our country, there have been many
Now the
cases
other
of
half
domestic
that does
violence. Of course,
retire,
it's not a big number, but the
like
fact
the
that these
military,
cases have
I
been
got
occurring
nothing against
continuously for about
them.
30
They
years is so
uh,
heartbreaking.
retire on their military payment, Social Security, they
Extremely flattering to see
401ks,
those finding it
they
difficult to speak out
triple,
against the bullying,
double
even
uh,
when they see someone being
dipping,
victimized.
but they
The second
the
factor
military
is that
complex
even when
sucks
students
a
and
lot
other
of blood
teachers
out of
stop the
the
bullying,
rest of us.
the
The
teacher
rest of us
feels
are
it's
just
not properly
trying to
investigated.
survive and compete against the
Statistics show that
uh,
1 in 4 adults
industrial
respond
military
well.
complex, which is
On the other hand,
it's a losing
only
battle.
principal teachers do respond. But the question remains whether these teachers are responding in a way that will properly resolve the issue. Another issue is how to deal with the perpetrators. We need to think about rehabilitation programs and what kind of care to provide them. We should also be thinking about what causes children to bully and how we should respond. I believe that these are just some of the many issues that must be dealt with in
But
Japan.
the
To help,
fall
even if
season
bullying
is
takes place in
here,
person
and
and mentioned
the
with
uh,
your classmates, help you
the
out
number one
during these
thing
turbulent
for
days.
Clemson University, they don't
And
care
Mr.
nothing
Smith,
else
Mr.
but
Smith, you
football.
said match your experience
and that's where all their money goes to football.
I very much agree with Mr.
And they
Sales.
have another home
I
game
think some of
that
our
which I'll
teachers
be
want you to do something
flying a
different,
drone again
but in many cases they
out
will tell you that if they did
out in the
something,
parking
it's
lot
too late to do. As someone who's
October
bullied, I can understand how they feel.
2nd.
No doubt I don't.
It's
But
they're
as a
gonna
child,
play
I think
Austin College, with
self-identity was helping me.
it's a pretty
I
good
assumed
team.
as if everybody was ganging up against me, and that was very hard
October
for me to
2nd. I
deal
think
with.
that's their
At the same time, I did talk to
homecoming
my teacher about it, but the
game.
teacher
I
said,
could
"There's
be
no
wrong.
problem. You worry too much. It's just a joke." But it wasn't a joke, and I was hurt, and I was suffering. I don't understand how the teacher could say it was okay. And so it's really
But
important to
as you
understand
know,
that the
my
perpetrators
expertise
has
is
a
the
future,
G20
but the
countries,
victim has a future too.
and
And also
they're
too,
all
once
on
you
the same
perceive the problem,
page.
it's not child's
They
play. It's
repeat the
something much more
same
serious, and I
goals,
feel very
the
strongly
same
that we have
vision
to shift
for
our
every country,
attitudes so
20
that they
countries.
take this issue more seriously.
And there are
Mr.
a
Strong,
mouthpiece for
one of the reasons why
the
bullying
elite.
persists in the U.S. and just the social divide
Just
in our
like the
country
politician, it
is
doesn't
that
matter who's the
hatred.
president. President
Yeah, I think all the reasons that we're just
Biden or
the more reasons we
President
see
Trump
here in the
was
U.S.
trying to
So here we're studying for students.
revolutionize
Schools have
the
education programs available for
politics.
students. But I think the conversation has changed a lot here in the U.S. even over the past 15 years. You know, now
But
every
definitely,
state here in the U.S.
I
has
don't want to
laws
get
on student
talk too
principals
much
and
about politics. I'm
really
just
great, but there's
like
still a lot
you.
of work to
I'm
do.
just
And
trying to survive,
you know, one thing that we're really trying to do as an organization that I work is
and
empower students
that we don't stick together. The bottom 20%, it doesn't stick together.
I also want to ask
That's what they want. They want to
another aspect.
slowly pick you
You
off
know,
one at a
many
time.
kids also do have
They got
issues
the
at home.
patience and the money
And,
to
you know, when
wait.
you look at the
They
perpetrators,
can wait
they
another
do
generation or
have
two
issues at
or
home.
three.
Can somebody talk about the home aspect? Yeah, in the early cases that came up in bullying schools where I was, we realized that the child was bullied. And then we had a deeper dive into understanding him or her psychologically. And when we brought in the parents into the analysis of understanding and conversation, we realized that either they were coming from homes which were dysfunctional, or there was an issue of alcoholism or domestic violence. Because the child was growing up
That's on
watching his brother
SpaceX
getting
is
beaten
on their
or the father getting
uh,
mistreated. So when we saw those kind of
St.
things, we
Jude
realized
Children
that
Research
sometimes
Hospital. Very
people
good,
based
and
on
they got
themselves
their
only. And
mentor,
that's when it is
which is
important
a
for us to
billionaire, but
develop
I
this
classify
mental
him as a
action
good
immediately
billionaire.
until we really understand why a
But there's
person
some good
is
people in
behaving as
the
they do.
uh,
Why
upper
in our
1%,
opinion
but
our
very
bullying
few.
prevention program is so
Everybody
absolutely flawed?
is concerned
It was
about
developed by
money
the
only.
leaders Simon Valley and Hakeem at the University of Hartford. The key focus of their curriculum is not the victims or the perpetrators of bullying, but the behavior of bystanders. So let's look at how the program teaches students to respond when they notice someone being bullied.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, Leak. Please subscribe and push like. Uh, YouTube uh, requires that you have a minimum of 1,000 subscribers, and I've been on it for 15, 20 years, posting things in Thailand, and I'm a long way from the minimum subscriber, and that's our goal. And if you have a chance to PayPal, you can buy me a coffee. Thank you very much. It helps uh,
typically approaches you and says,
to buy the PPE, personal
you are
protection
then given other choices for
equipment,
responding. One, say,
and
you are. Two, say,
that's
you
what
will.
we're
Three, say
just
nothing.
shy of 2 years in a pandemic. We're still going through a lot of personal
Revoke
uh,
and anything clever to say
protective
promotes your
equipment. We
response.
still need money.
Furthermore, the children around you sympathize with your resolute attitude, saying, next time I'll definitely step up like that. The Kiva program teaches children that if one person stands up to bullying, it
But
contributes
yeah, you
to
have, and if that's if you think the information that I give the
This sounded like
community
a
is
very
worth it,
impressive program indeed.
it's
Why
totally free for
do you
everyone.
thought that it was important to empower the
But
bystanders?
if you can afford it,
And this
uh,
is all goes
buy
back
me
to
a
my
cup of coffee
program
or
provides healthy
uh,
programming in
hit
Turkey
the
as well
donation
since the
button. And
1990s.
you
And
can
it
donate
really
any
has
amount,
been
even a
helpful
penny
study
helps.
to bullying and I was always interested in the bystander responses and that is still one key focus in my research group. So we realized that often in bullying situations, bystanders are present, they are there, what they do really matters, and often it's more effective to influence the bullies, not directly, but indirectly through these bystander responses. And we want to empower the students and tell them that you really have the solution as a group if you decide that we take action against bullying together. Mr. Hal, what impresses you the most about Finland's approach?
I'm still on delay. I'll keep an eye on it.
Often the
I'm
children
here
who become
all day.
bystanders, they don't know what to do. And this kind of program can teach the children what they can do in a fun way. It presents options to them in the form of a quiz game, so even young children can have a very good experience. And for me, this was an important revelation. In Japan, people tend to avoid talking about bullying. And even when they're having a hard time, I think many children don't have any adults they can talk to and just don't know what to do. So I'm hoping that programs like this will be utilized more in the future. I'd like to ask Ms. Salmi Bali again. Uh, how did children's behavior change after going through your program, and how did it help reduce bullying in your country? We have studied many different effects, and first of all, we did find effects on their attitudes, their empathy towards peers who are vulnerable or who are bullied by others. We found changes in the bystander responses, which was, of course, one of the targets, and we found decreases in the prevalence of students who bullied others or who were bullied by others. So in our very big evaluation study, which already included more than 30,000 students, we found very promising findings. Less so in middle school, though. So it seems that adolescents are the most difficult to influence via such a program. Um, and now we have been implementing this program in Finland since 2009, so that's more than a decade. And we see very steady
Yeah,
changes
I usually I'm
towards
trying to set up the
victimization and bullying of population of young people. And now,
multi-platform,
of course, device
and
implementation in
maybe
in
that's
the
how we
smarter
can
modern
make the channel
devices.
grow. Trying to post it on everything.
So, Mr. Sunagana, you provide support to students and teachers in Japan. What is your take on the Kiva program, and could it work in Japan too?
Yes, the video was very interesting. Like in Finland, structural issues have been debated in Japan for over 30 years now. So I think that similar and related phenomena are being talked about. In Japan, I think there are some issues that still need to be addressed regarding our bullying prevention programs. Here in our country, the importance of bystanders taking action to stop bullying has been brought up and is widely taught in schools as well. However, the problem in Japan is that even with all that effort, most children are still reluctant to take action. That's because there is widespread fear that if they do take action, stop the
Another
wrongdoing,
thing is
they might
the
end up next. So, if
bothers
I
me for
may,
the
let's
uninsured.
discuss
You
this
get a
topic
lot
further.
of
Can you tell us what
phishing
steps are being
comments,
taken in Geneva
phishing
program to
uh,
address this issue of potential retaliation?
scams from the
The summit too?
financial community
Yeah,
and
one of the
and
main reasons why kids say that
and
they
the
will do
government
anything and
community
they
too.
still don't have it because
I
they
mean,
are afraid. And
the
that's why I think it's really important not
these
only to
two
tell
years,
students
the
that
number of
they can
phishing
do it,
scams from
but
these
also
two
need to provide
uh,
them with safe
government agencies
references, what you
and
could
like
do and how you could do it so that it's not socially risky yourself. And that's what the Kiva student lessons are about.
everything
So
for
of course the
uh,
online game that we saw in the video
the
is just
exact
one
one
tiny
uh,
tiny part of the
slips my
problem.
mind. But
Central
and
part of
also
the
from the
student
banks
lessons where
and the
these
credit
questions
card
are
companies,
discussed together with
it
students,
increased
and
immediately these
the
2 years.
students
I
are
mean,
also
uh,
helped
on a
to come
scale
up
that's
with
off the
their
scale,
solutions, what they could do differently.
and
And we
they're
also want to
uh,
emphasize to students that
uh,
you don't need to be a superhero
phishing
to
because
really
they
do
want to
disobedience
set you
behavior.
up
You can really be maybe
or
very
or
scary and powerful, but it could be
or
very, very small actions that make a difference. If you are
want to
friendly
set you up
to
for
the
fraud.
person who has been victimized, if you tell, hey, we can have lunch together with us, be
Like I
with this
said,
person, there is a strategy,
besides
whatever
health
this
care for the
strategy is to
uninsured,
make
there's
someone's life
many more
completely different.
reasons.
Miss Houston, are there similar programs in the United States that teach students how to help others if they see a bullying situation? For a lot of students, especially here in the US, they see bullying and they want to help and they want to do something, but they're not sure how or they're scared to do it. So every student has a different level of skill sets and what they feel comfortable doing when it comes to interaction and stepping in. So just really reinforcing that fact that it doesn't have to be that you go and get involved in
I
a
mean,
formal bullying situation,
welcome
but even if
to
you get
America
involved, that
from
might not always be the
whatever
impact
country coming
here.
from,
So
not just
we know
Thailand,
here in the US too, a lot of
but
programs that we do are about
it's for
really like
everybody.
turning
I
that
mean, every
into an
country.
exclusion, as
Once you
advocating
get
for
here,
other ways that
you're
we can show students who
really
experience bullying that they're not
starting
alone.
from zero, and no
So
one will help you. No one. You're on your own.
next, we're going to India
That's
to
what
look at another
I don't like
approach.
about the
This one this
individual
year is more on
society.
the
You
police.
got
The country
no
takes a
one.
stricter stance against
That's
perpetrators and
why the
making it
group
clear
society
that
like
acts of
China is
bullying
going to
will be punished.
rule the world. And the American economy is on its decline, just like Britain before. America now is on its decline. They love to tell you you're number one,
The guidelines define
but
exactly
that's
what
their
might be
propaganda.
considered bullying. For example,
It's on its
bullying,
decline for sure.
intimidation, lying, spreading
My
rumors, and
generation
so
may
on.
not see it, but the next generation will.
And if this kind of bullying occurs, the offenders are punished. In serious
So,
cases, they can be fined or expelled from school.
我的中国的朋友，
In addition,
喂阿姨啊，喂阿姨，希望你们呢，希望你们呢，
schools have created anti-bullying committees to prevent possible future incidents. School principals and teachers work together with parents, counselors, and social workers in the community to share information and create a system which can respond immediately.
中国的朋友，it's
And if bullying occurs, the committee is
your
required
turn.
to conduct a fair investigation.
Oh, by the way, I'm on TikTok too. I'm all over the platforms that when I was running for mayor in 2020,
The government supports the schools by taking various other measures.
and
It is
thank
set
you
up
for
online
all
centers
of your
so that
support.
children can reach out
Uh,
24/7 to receive counseling when bullied.
I
This
had
means that the
I
centers
did a
analyze
TikTok
each
video
case they receive
in Greenville at the Hilton Hotel. If you get a chance to see it, uh,
If necessary, some cases are reported to swim teams
welcome to see it.
on a quickly stage. Society ने है इसलिए स्कूल दिया उसके लिए सोसाइटी का टोटल ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन होना चाहिए सोसाइटी का माइंडसेट होना चाहिए
So, Ms. Hotel, the rule seems to be clear. Bullying has consequences. But tell us, how do you judge whether a victim's claim is legitimate, and how do you determine an adequate punishment? Tell us more about how it works.
Yeah, there are, like, the bullying is of several types, and when strict punitive action is taken, the bullying has to be something extremely serious. It has caused bodily harm to a child, or has severely affected a child mentally to the point that there's been a sort of a breakdown, or property has been damaged at a very large level. So at these levels, you take very strict action where you expel, or you put on a fine. And normally, what you do is you do it above the age of 16, because below the age of 16 in India, it's difficult to really, because it's a minor. You can't handle minor in the way that you handle an adult. Above 16, you're an adult. So the laws really come into place when you're above 16. And the way to find out, of course, is that, when something serious like this happens, you can't hide it. And if you prevent something like this happening, one is constantly monitoring. Even private schools and government schools
They're
also have
talking
these
about
very
on
good
Uninsured
services
bullying in
where
India
asking children
and
to
legal age
identify
for
bully
uh,
ambassadors who go around finding out the fear
adults
factors
in
of
India
bullying,
16
and
years old,
setting a program at the
and
different
that's where
if a
the
child sees
full
bullying happening, they want to report it to the teacher.
ramifications
The
of the
teacher has
law.
these workshops and brings in the
You got
parents
to
and has
follow the law.
conversations to prevent it from becoming a very huge issue. And so these are very complex issues which have to be handled in a very generic manner. It cannot be, and it has to be handled case by case. Each case is a little different, and it has to be handled with sensitivity.
Um, Ms. Sahel, what did you think about India's way of dealing with perpetrators? Because in your case, the bullies got away with it without understanding the pain it caused you.
At first, I thought that imposing penalties might be too harsh, but listening to what Ms. Vital just said, I thought it was very important to have a place that protects children, a place where children who are hurt can go to for help and support. There is something else that I want to address. I worry about the children who are bullying becoming victims of bullying themselves because of the penalties that are imposed on them. I have a strong fear that it might start a chain reaction of negativity that could affect their future. On the other hand, I also thought that these
Yeah,
kinds of
the
penalties might be necessary for children to
President
take
Trump
bullying more seriously.
and President
I think
Biden,
they need to
both their
realize that what they are
administration,
doing
said
isn't
that
really weak, it's actually
the
wrong.
COVID-19 vaccine is free,
Ms. Houston,
but I still
what's your
get a
take
bill
on India's system
for
of dealing with
$40.
bullying and
It's not
punishment
free
being used as
for
a
the
form
uninsured.
of
For the
defense?
insured, yeah, it's free,
And the conversations that we've
but
been having
that's the
after the
distinction
election,
they
one
don't
thing that
make.
is great to hear on my end is that the program really seems like a holistic approach when it comes to bullying, because, like we all know, there's not a one size
It
fits
depends
all
on whatever
approach when it comes to how
propaganda
to really,
side you fall
tackle
on.
bullying situations when they happen. If there was, we probably wouldn't be on this call, but I think one really key thing is, along with any consequences or punishment, is really sitting down with the child who's doing the bullying and kind of unpacking those layers of
Just
what is the
a
thing
second, I'll be
that
right
they're
back. Let
doing
me
that
check
needs to
my
be directed. I think that's really when you're creating a
viewers.
team and
Uh,
are looking at ways to address the program later on, because at the end of the day,
I
bullying
have been going half
is something
34
that
minutes and
takes
50
even,
seconds.
our
Yeah, I'll be right back.
like calling students the bully, because that kind of puts a label on them. So the students
Samantha, you had your hand raised up?
Yes, listening to what was just said, I realized we have another complicated situation in Japan. That's because when asked about bullying experience, about 90% of the children say that before the age of 15, they have done things like ignore someone, talk behind their back, or make fun of them. The percentage of students who become victims of bullying is also 90%. In other words, in Japan, many children become both perpetrators and victims. So, according to statistics, children can become both predators and prey in their interactions with one another. In that sense, I think there are various issues that we need to consider before we talk about introducing penalties. By the way, 7 or 8 years ago, Japan enacted a law aimed at preventing bullying. But even still, there are no strict penalties being imposed on violators, although there have been subsequent discussions. Public opinion says there should be tough penalties, but I think we must approach the issue cautiously.
Yes, tell me, Bali, what is your take on India's approach to the bullies?
Often the problem with punishments is that when bullying is very subtle, as it often is, we discussed in the beginning that very often bullying can be very indirect and emotional and ignoring someone. So these are behaviors that are very difficult to punish in a way because I mean just as in the adult world we can say that violence is a crime and threatening someone is a crime, but just not being nice to someone it's very difficult to define something like that as a crime. However, we have been comparing in our studies different approaches to handle bullying and to discuss with the children who have been doing the bullying, and we see that some kind of confrontation seems to lead to better effects than just throwing blame calls.
I'm back. How's my friends in Udon, honey?
Actually, most effective is
Doing
when
fine, I
bullying is
hope.
a crime. So we try to make the child understand how harmful their behavior can be and how it hurts the other person.
Thank you. Now, we want to turn our attention to cyberbullying, which is wreaking havoc across the globe, especially during the pandemic. It occurs via smartphones, computers, and tablets. Let's first look at the situation in the United States.
Bullying continues to spread, especially online. In the US, the number of middle and high school students who have experienced cyberbullying has increased 1.5 times over the past 10 years. In
I
particular,
got a new
coronavirus
subscriber.
pandemic
Thank you
has
very
caused a
much, Pradeep.
70% increase in
I remember
cyberbullying
you
posts among teens and
in
other youth in the United States.
Udon Night Market. He's such a good friend.
Ms. Sahel, of course, you were
I,
not
I
a
spent
victim of
lots
cyberbullying.
of nights
What are your thoughts
talking
with
at his
relationship
booth.
to online harassment? I think cyberbullying has
Let me
increased a lot recently.
confirm
And
it.
what we must be careful of are the many problems that aren't visible, that don't come to light. If a child is attacked during an interaction with another, adults may not be there to see it. Cyberbullying is a problem that is
and
happening very frequently among adults as well.
and we support
For
each
example,
other.
people can remain
I will
anonymous online. It's easy
uh,
for them to
visit
carelessly use words that can cut as deeply as
your
language.
page
Children are
and
similarly
support you
prone to
on
mislead
YouTube. We're
those that appear on the web
YouTube
channels
bloggers.
and other social media platforms and wonder
But
about the number of
thank you very
likes or
much.
followers they get. If they see that the numbers are low, they think, oh, I don't have any friends. And they are easily swayed by these rankings, thinking this determines their value. Social media platforms are convenient, but I feel that in the shadows of such convenience, many children suffer a lot, feeling that they've lost their place in society. Yes, I think that's a very important point, many are so obsessed with the number of likes they get every single day. Now, Miss Houston, you're an expert on cyberbullying. How harmful is it compared to face-to-face abuse, and why are the numbers going up?
Yeah, so I would say that when it comes to cyberbullying, all forms of bullying are hurtful, whether it's in person or online. But when it comes to cyberbullying, there's some unique aspects of it that make it difficult for not only students but for adults as well. So the first being it can happen 24/7. So compared to in-person bullying that might be limited to the school day or when kids are with each other, when it comes to cyberbullying, it can happen day or night as long as kids have access to technology. Another really hard part about it is that it can be anonymous. So students might not have any idea who it is that's saying these things about them or posting hurtful photos or videos or content online. And the last is that it can be seen by a much wider audience. So rather than maybe an interaction that in person and is in a hallway with kids and girlfriends around, when it comes to cyberbullying, posts can be shared with a much larger audience, and you might have no idea who it is that's seeing it. So, there are those different aspects to it that can make it really hard for kids to both, figure out how to cope with, but then address as well.
Mr. Sunaga, technology evolves very quickly, and it always seems like kids are faster than adults in learning the new functions. What do you find most challenging in dealing with these less visible forms of bullying in Japan?
I, I think the circumstances in Japan are different in some respects. Clearly, cyberbullying is an important and being discussed in Japan as well. But one problem we have here is that most of the children who are
Yeah,
being bullied
I
in
like to
school are also being
uh,
bullied online.
support
So
Pat
while there
D
are some kids
YouTube
that
channel,
are being
and
cyberbullied by
his
peers in
nickname is Golf.
school, for the
I met
majority of
Mr.
children,
Golf back in
cyberbullying
the
is
night
closer
market
linked to
booth
face-to-face bullying,
2009
and this
through
has lately been a big topic of
2010 when I
discussion.
w-
So, in
went
order
into
to
the
answer your
PhD
very
program at
specific
Roger Park
question,
University, studied
some
development
thoughts to answer
strategy.
this question.
Uh,
First, we need to
Kung
address
Golf
not only
was
the issue of
a
real
very
or
good friend,
face-to-face bullying, we
and
should
I
also talk about
spoke with
internet
him
service providers to
every
discuss
week
what
at
kind of
the
actions they can take to
night
address
market.
the bullying
He's
online,
fantastic.
such as
He's
functions they can introduce to their services and what more they can do to
he was
educate their community.
interested. I
I
remember
myself have been
uh,
communicating and having
starting
used social networking services to exchange
uh,
ideas.
a
In
spa
addition, we
resort,
need to enhance digital literacy
and that's
with
where I'm
adults to
still
teach their
working
children
on.
ways to navigate the digital world.
Me too.
I
I
think this
mean,
is an
we're
important
trying
lifelong
to
challenge
get it
for
off the
every
ground,
generation.
but it's been 10 years.
And Ms. Hotel, what do you think is the most
But we're
important thing
still,
to
and
teach
thank you,
in this
Kung Golf,
age of
for your
social
support.
media?
I appreciate it
Here we have
very
these
much. Looking
programs
forward
called
to
cyber hygiene,
seeing you once again
and
when I go back to
they
Thailand. I
essentially
was
carry
just there
students that
right
wish to take a
before
quiz
the
or
pandemic in
just kind of take a look
2020,
and see whether they can
and
manage debugging
uh,
consistently online.
I made it
So
out
that
with
itself
just the same
shows
week
a
as
lot.
the shutdown.
So it's a
That's
really
how
reason
come
to be there.
they canceled
So
my
asking about
uh,
the
white
media
paper on
platforms
Japan, for
or the
example.
online
Everything
platform and
was
what
canceled.
bank has one of our colleagues
But
mentioned that
thank you,
suggestion
Kungov. I
that
really, really
somebody on
appreciate
the
it.
community
I
also
will
contact people back.
talk to you
So I
soon.
think one of the programs that we do in schools is that one should get offline for at least 4 or 5 days and sort of cleanse yourself for a while
Kungov, let me
from
put
that
that
communication and give
in
yourself a
there
break from
because
this and see how
their
easy
Xi
it can
Jeng-Chyang,
be
they
back to
just
reflect and
uh,
connect more. So
refuse to
the other
use
thing
it.
we do
And
also
let
to try
me,
and prevent this is that we have a lot of programs for parents because cyberbullying happens quite a lot from the homes. Because during school time, the children are all busy either studying or coaching or involved with their teachers. So the parent community, they're constantly asking us, should we
they
have
don't
cyber
like
bullies?
the
Should we have cyber
nickname. I
firewalls?
don't know
Because
why.
ultimately, all this kind of bullying happens in their own
I
bedrooms
know
every
why,
night when
because
they're not
they like to
supposed to be with
control
their
you.
kids and they're by themselves and
Kungov.
they get up to all sorts of thoughts and things and frustrations and resentments.
Now, lastly, I'd like to get your
but
comments
it's
on a
easier for
unrelated
us to
question.
use
What
it.
kind
Like
of society should
Jeng-Chyang,
we
I've
be
been
trying to
using it for
create?
40 years.
What values should we promote to achieve a world where nobody ever suffers from bullying again? Miss Omidali, can I go from you?
Yes, I mean,
I
I
still
think
got
that
it on
Jeng
delay
talked
because
about
I'm
it already
at the office,
today is
and
respect.
I'll
And I think that
keep it
that's
going
something that we should
today
emphasize much more,
about
that we should treat
uh,
other people with
45 minutes.
respect.
I'll keep it
I
going
mean, we have been talking
about
about
another hour.
psychology
And
study. We have been talking for decades about the importance
I
of
know it's
high
Saturday and
self-esteem, and
Sunday
it's important that people
night in
value
Thailand.
themselves. And maybe this has a little bit even overshadowed the idea that
I
we
will keep
must
it going
treat
for another
other
hour.
people with respect. And I think that's really
I
a
put
very
everything
important
on
value.
slow
And
mode.
also, we were discussing about parent psychologies before, and I think that it makes a huge
Uh,
difference how parents, what kind of example they show and how they treat other people, and whether they teach their
I
kids
hope,
to
see,
treat
I
others
hope I
with
don't have
respect.
trouble with the
So kindness and
microphone again
respect, of course, they
for
are
the
very
audio.
important.
Miss Patel.
I think the audio is fine. If not, give me a
I
message and
agree completely with
I'll
my friend, the professor here.
look into it.
But I also agree that we have to help children to move from self-centered existence to coexistence, from alienation to collaboration, from understanding that there is an interdependence to life. There is not only you are there because of me and I am there because of you, and we are a holistic consciousness, and we cannot demonize the other. Because if we demonize someone else, in a certain subtle way, we demonize ourselves. We dehumanize ourselves. We become something that we should not become. So we have to work through cooperative learning, through collaboration, through communication, through dialogue. I think that will help us to, especially the interdependence of life.
And Miss Houston?
I would say one theme that I think that we've all been talking about throughout this panel is the importance that bullying is really a community issue. It's not just up to the school or to the parents. It's really up to all of us to be working together to make sure that all students feel safe and supported. And I think so often we talk about behaviors that we don't want to see as kids when it comes to bullying. But what behaviors do we want to see? And I think three really great words that come to mind that we use a lot in the groups that I work at is kindness, acceptance, and inclusion. A willingness, being kind to everyone. Doesn't mean you have to be best friends with everyone, but being kind and respectful to everyone. And being inclusive of those that are different.
Mr. Sinaga.
So I can relate to everyone's opinions. And I would like to add 3 points. One is about stress and stressors. It's a known fact that there is more bullying in environments that can be stressful. Therefore, one key factor will be to find ways to reduce stress and stressors among children. This is the first point. The second point is dialogue. In Japan, we talk about having continuous dialogue or open dialogue. We need to think about how we can be more open-minded and caring in our dialogue and spend time having deeper communication. This is the second point. The third point is we need more diversity. We have to learn about each other, recognize our differences, and appreciate that there are different ways of living. Based on that knowledge, we should think about how we should live our own lives. Children and adults should deepen their awareness, have continuous dialogue, and work to improve the environment. I think these 3 points are the most important for me.
And Miss Sahel, what is your message to all those who are suffering from bullying, and what's your message to the bullies?
It's very good. I have to go hard with it. Children tend to struggle with problems by themselves, and I was that way as well in my childhood. I think children send out lots of nonverbal signals to grown-ups when they need help. I hope that more adults could recognize those signals. At the same time, if children see another
their child being bullied, I hope they will take them by the hand in a show of kindness. And I hope that they will try to protect them. If a child commits suicide, it's too late. So, if people are aware of something happening right now, I hope they will take action. That is my sincere wish. Thank you all very much today for your insights and message. Thank you very much. Well, standing up against bullying is about saving lives and saving the future. It's not an easy task. There's no one solution. But as our guest reminded us today, adults need to keep lifting our voices against it and show how serious we are. Because children, they all have the right to live in a safer, kinder environment. And most importantly, those who are suffering need to know you are not alone. Thank you for watching Global Agenda.
Welcome to NHK Newsline. I'm Gino Tani in Tokyo. A top executive of China's Huawei Technologies is returning to her homeland after nearly 3 years in Canadian custody. Meng Wanzhou struck a deal with the U.S. authorities who had been seeking her extradition. Meng was the Chinese telecom giant's chief financial officer when she was detained at Washington's request in 2018. She allegedly violated sanctions against Iran. She had been kept under strict surveillance at her home in Vancouver after she was released on bail. The U.S. Justice Department said on Friday that it would drop charges, including fraud, if she admits to some wrongdoing. Meng sent a letter, or sent a message rather, to her friends on social media on her way back to China. She said that no words could describe her time under house arrest. She said she didn't know which path would lead her home. Meng expressed gratitude to her homeland, the Communist Party of China, and the Chinese government. She said her desire to return to her country kept her spirits up even in the darkest moments. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said two of its citizens who were detained in China after Meng's arrest have left the country. The administration of U.S. President Joe Biden still regards Huawei as a security threat and is tightening regulations against this year, the Laughter Critical Award has gone to two scientists who have developed the messenger RNA vaccine against the coronavirus. Catalin Carrico and Drew Weissman are researchers at the University of Pennsylvania. Carrico is also a senior vice president of German biotechnology company BioNTech. They share the 2021 Lasker DeBakey Clinical Medical Research Award. They were honored for discovering a process that enables the use of a new therapeutic technology based on the modification of messenger RNA. This breakthrough enabled BioNTech and U.S. drug giant
Reuters
to jointly develop
is
a
live
highly effective
because
COVID-19 vaccine in a short period of time.
that's a
Receiving the
competition.
Oscar Award, I have been able to reflect on my humble beginnings and the long winding road on which I have arrived.
As I take a second to appreciate this good fortune that our work has helped millions of people around the world.
No, Kung Golf,
The most prestigious medical practice in the United States.
we have the same goal in life, just to survive.
The U.S. Centers for
What
Disease Control and Prevention has endorsed giving some people a booster shot of the
we
Pfizer
have
BioNTech COVID-19
same goal in
vaccine.
life, helping people
The health authority says
reach
booster
those
shots should
goals.
be administered at least 6 months after the second Pfizer dose. It recommends the additional jab for people 65 years and older.
And
It also says
you
people
are
aged 18 to 64 with
what we
underlying
call
medical conditions
Renfun,
and people at increased risk for COVID-19 exposure and
meant to
transmission
be
should get another shot. An advisory
uh,
panel for the
meeting
CDC
each
did
other.
not recommend boosters
I
for people
enjoyed
who perform such high-risk
fully
jobs, citing
our
insufficient
conversation
evidence. But CDC
during
Director
that time.
Rochelle Walensky overruled that advice. It is highly unusual for the CDC's recommendations to differ from those of the advisory panel.
In a pandemic, we most often take steps with the intention to do the greatest good, even in an uncertain environment.
The health authority said it will urgently evaluate available data so it can make decisions on booster shots for the Moderna and Johnson & Johnson vaccines. A member of the health ministry's expert panel cites increasing cases in countries such as Britain of seniors aged 75 or older hospitalized with coronavirus infection despite high vaccination rates. He said the reason for this is that the effectiveness of vaccine waning once Japan could face similar situations.
Yeah, like the vaccination, NHK have the news on it, and it says the reason the vaccination rate to people 65 and older needs a booster because the effective rate goes down, and 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 like Moderna, Johnson, we have no choice but to pay whatever the pharmacy wants to us to pay for the uninsured.
The participants called the meeting a success and said
Right
they
now,
agreed to make
uh,
it an
President
annual
Biden issued with the Quad leaders,
demonstrates the strong solidarity between our four
Prime Minister Yoshida Suga.
and open windows.
This group meeting of democratic partners, we share a world view and have a common vision for the future. I guess peaceful.
I believe the court will bring peace
Oh,
and prosperity to the
that's
Indo-Pacific
what
region
I'm
and to the world.
looking at NHK.
A region that we
Practically NHK and
With the support of
Sky News every day.
Iowa Speaker, we come together in collective strength.
In a joint statement, the leaders expressed their recommitment to a free and open Indo-Pacific. Apparently, with China in mind, they vowed to promote the free, open, rules-based order rooted in international law and
Indo-Pacific
undaunted by
Quad leaders.
coercion. On the fight against the coronavirus, the leaders promised that in addition to doses financed through COVAX, their countries will donate more than 1.2 billion doses worldwide of safe and effective vaccines and ensure expanded production capacity. They also vowed to work together to combat cyber threats and secure critical infrastructure through a new cooperation framework. September 26th is World Contraception Day. Events are being held around the world to highlight the importance of reducing the number of unwanted pregnancies. The United Nations report says that in Japan, condoms constitute 75% of methods used, showing a tendency to rely on male contraceptives. The use of birth control pills remains at 6%. In Western countries, birth control pills constitute 31% of contraceptive use, while condoms account for 25%. Men in Japan often refuse to use contraceptives, leading to unwanted pregnancies and abortions. Governments in Europe have been supporting the spread of contraceptive methods that women can use on their own initiative. Birth control pill in Britain was approved about 40 years earlier than in Japan.
But
The pill is currently available for anyone free of charge through prescription. The government of France announced this month that it will make contraceptive drugs free for all women under 25 starting next year. Efforts are also underway in Japan
no,
to
the Wall
offer
Street
women more
Journal.
choice when it comes to birth control. The Japanese Institute
That's
plans to
another
raise
elite
awareness of various
uh,
contraceptives and distribute condoms
spokesperson.
for free at cafes. Experts will also be made available for consultation. An official says that people should be learning about contraception from a young age and they should be able to discuss it in a secure environment. She also says that more people should be available to offer support. And those were the news stories for this hour.
Right now, I'm just checking my emails and checking this delayed chat, but oftentimes I go live during weird times. I have no schedule. It doesn't fit in the convenient schedule of people in Thailand. So usually it takes me a couple days to go back and find your comments and to answer, but I will. Right now, uh, we trying to move toward the digital economy completely, but you still need to back up the digital economy. They can cut on and off with a flick of a switch.
Crocodile skin have long been a staple in luxury fashion and accessories. But in recent years, concerns over factors such as animal welfare led to a global rethink of the trade in exotic skins. In 2020, one leading US fashion conglomerate announced a major revision to its animal welfare statement, including the decision
But
to
that's
forbid
why
the
they
use of exotic
usually
skins in
I
all
have
future
time,
creations.
couple hours.
It's all part of the
It
broader
takes
growing
me
trend
3 hours to
towards
go
fashion
through my
consists
emails.
of
That's what they always say about the uninsured.
Jeng-Chyang is a pioneer in
Their number
research
one
into
excuse
sustainable
they're lazy
alternatives to
and
exotic leather.
they
Using
deserve it,
unexpected resource,
which is not true. They're human beings too,
You have to get all the flesh off without damaging the
so
skin.
arrogant.
and this
A lot of
method
narcissists.
turns food to waste remains fish leather goods. With few precedents for the tanning of fish hide, Noguchi spent 3 years developing his own unique process. And in just a year of business since launching his brand in spring 2020, orders have multiplied more than fivefold.
Fish skin has always been something you just throw away. There wasn't really a sense that you could reuse it as leather. But I'm making use of something that was seen as worthless. And that's an approach to waste that I would like to see spread as widely as possible.
This time at Rising, we follow a sustainability pioneer upcycling fish scales into high-end leather.
But yeah, getting back to Kung Golf, it's amazing what the conversation
Located in Toyama
uh,
Bay, right
you
in the
had
center of the Sea of Japan coastline.
10, 12 years ago. We're,
A natural convergence of
we're
warm,
working on the
deep
same thing.
forests and a depth of up to 1,200 meters
Resort spa,
along many
retreat,
stretches of fertile
retreat or spa. Because the Clemson University, they put the students on so much stress. Uh, for example, that if they choose to uh, come for alternative services like a massage, they're 18 years old, and the fascia on their covers their muscle is so thick and so tight that already they lost their feeling to that muscle.
You
They're
usually
going to
just
have
start with
a
skin, don't you?
Yes, of course.
hard time in their next generation because their first generation almost through it's 20 years per generation, But once they graduate,
And that never seemed like a waste.
they're burned out totally.
Nobody leaves with a bag of
And
discarded
a retreat
skills
gives a spa a chance to
before heading
uh,
to another fish merchant.
treat them mentally, like tea meditation, singing bowl,
This time he receives a whole bowl of assorted
uh,
but it's still just a fraction of the
singing
price
bowl, or the Western in the Western world, is tin forks, for example, and that's what we're working on
He heads back to his own
for the
process.
uninsured and uninsured. I mean, in America, it got it
Noguchi's fish ladder was all
tough
processed single-handedly in
because
this
they
modest
make sure
place.
you're not
As
insured
it's such a novel
and get the same
arrangement,
benefits
no
that they do.
specialist equipment is commercially available.
This is actually an agricultural device for washing tar leaves.
To ensure the leather is not afflicted by lingering fishy odors, it's crucial to remove every last bit of flesh and fat. But this must be done without damaging the skin.
Species differ in skin thickness and fat distribution. It's tougher in winter. The fish carry more fat, so the skins are harder to clean.
As his tanning agent, he uses plant-based tannins. Industrial leather production typically uses chromium sulfate, a chemical compound that can produce hazardous byproducts.
Personally, I feel that using chromium sulfate would undermine the whole purpose of making sustainable leather from fish. That's why I'm committed to using plant tannins.
The painstakingly processed hides are finally free of fishy
This
odors.
Saturday is a little quiet because it's not a football game Saturday.
And the tanning process has transformed these once delicate fish hides into durable leather. Dyeing further showcases the unique scaly patterns.
Different fish have different scale patterns, so I feel that's another part of the appeal.
This amberjack leather has a finely textured surface, while this green has pronounced scales that leave no doubt as to its aquatic origins. Noguchi's unique know-how is also applied to sea bass and flounder in a lineup that currently includes over 50 species.
These materials have a unique beauty and texture that you simply don't get with other leathers. To me, that really is a key appeal of working with fish.
The firm's biggest sellers are wallets that leverage fish leather's combination of lightness and strength. Part of a product line including card cases and other accessories. The colors are also inspired by the local area.
To me, this color represents the deep tones of the sea. When you're out fishing and the sun goes down, and you get this beautiful dark shade,
This red is inspired by the blazing skies of Himi at sunrise, while this yellow evokes local carrier blossoms. Each product in the line is an embodiment of the local environment. July 2021, and Noguchi's brand is being featured at this high-end department store in Yokohama. With most of the firm's sales online, it's a valuable opportunity to let potential customers see products like these new target places themselves.
It's nice, I like. Really?
There are also leather samples for shoppers to examine.
Seems pretty strong. Is it skin? Fish? Amberjack?
Lightness is a plus point for bags.
You'd never guess it was fish leather. But that wouldn't put me off.
Tokyo's Sumida Ward is home to the Tokyo Metropolitan Leather Technology Center. Resident researcher Aihara Michiro has spent years studying the qualities of different kinds of leather.
With amberjack, if you can collect strips of skin that are 60 to 70 centimeters long, that's a perfectly practical base material. It looks so different to leathers from livestock. The patterns left by the scales give rather unique textures that can add interest to your products. And if people pick up on that appeal, I think there could be plenty of demand.
Kawaguchi, Saitama Prefecture.
Yeah,
770
sometimes
kilometers
I
southeast
do
of
walk and talk.
Noguchi is here from
Uh, like I said,
He
they're
arrived on the bullet train with special
impromptitude,
cargo in tow.
no schedule.
The destination is this local restaurant.
I found them interesting too. I
It's
found
a prime amberjack
the
specialty from
ones
Toyota.
interested in Chiang Mai, Bangkok,
And
and
Noguchi himself takes charge of
Pattaya.
carving.
Have a lot of these walk and talk
The color
bloggers,
is particularly nice and simple.
and I like I
Today's
said,
event
I'm
was organized by
recently
regional
more
culturalization
into the
specialist Yoshi
drone.
Yamashiro of Miyagi
Only
University.
things about the drone that you don't like, you
Mindful
just
food consumption
silent.
among elementary school children.
They produce this beautiful pictures,
The
but
online
it's like they are an extra, uh, especially the walk and talk videos.
And these participants also get to eat the freshly carved sashimi.
これ、今感じで生の皮を取っておいて、あるんですけど、ここはこれが大事なんですね。He
shows them a fish leather sample.
これがブリの皮。匂い嗅いで。皮がもともと薄いと、やっぱりレザーにしにくくて、魚だったらやっぱり汗とかいますとか、ちっちゃい魚だと、ちょっとこうしづらいかな。
Raise awareness of fishing.
Of course, when it comes to fish leather, base awareness is extreme, or perhaps even non-existent. The main points effort to get across are the practical benefits value in upcycling a waste product into a product like fish leather.
It was while studying art and design at Koyama University that Noguchi Tomohisa first met a pivotal figure on his fish leather journey. Now he dropped in on the individual in question, former tutor Takahashi Seiichi, and he's keen to show us his own fish leather card case.
It's really tough, despite how thin it is.
For Professor Takahashi, Noguchi was a memorable student.
He wasn't really the most studious type. So he didn't seem particularly committed at first. But once he gets absorbed in something, he gets totally absorbed, which is ideal when it comes to making things.
Noguchi was in Takahashi's class to learn about urushi lacquerware, and encouraged to try something new, he decided to combine those traditional techniques with his personal hobby, leathercraft. But the added twist would be leather made from local fish.
When he first spoke to me about his idea using fish leather, I really didn't imagine that it could become a viable product. It started out as just a random idea. Well, that's destiny for you.
For his graduation project, Noguchi decided to use salmon from the waters of his hometown. But at the time, he had no experience of canning fish hide.
I used what little information I could find online, but it didn't
See,
work out at first. It ended up more like tough, dried fish with oils that kept that fishy smell.
After a year of trial and error, he finally completed the pieces for his final year exhibit, which are now on display in his workshop. Three salmon leather waistcoats, finely decorated with urushi lacquer and gold leaf.
The leather isn't great quality, but back then, the main thing was that it didn't rot, that it did stink of fish.
After graduation, he continued to experiment making leather from Koyama fish, and in 2020, he launched his own business. One early commission was a lampshade for a popular local restaurant, and this scaly light feature creatively showcased the artistic possibilities of fish leather. Noguchi's wares have even been embraced as a local specialty product. Since soon after their launch, they've been available as part of Himi's tax relief gift program.
Fish are very close to the hearts of people in Himi, our local pride. But of course, after cooking, the skin and bones tend to get thrown away. Fish leather pays homage to the lives of those fish, so we'd like more people to know about it.
I was always into making stuff, but instead of working together on projects with other people, I've always preferred to just pursue my own kind of thing. In the beginning, I think this started out as some sort of a gesture of respect for the fish. That was the original idea. And then, as things progressed, the The regional revitalization and social sustainability aspects also gradually became a part of it.
Recently, another fishing town, Heda, in the Shizuoka prefecture, has also reached out to Noguchi for help. Nearby Suruga Bay, Japan's deepest estuary, is fished by bottom trawlers. And the bounteous catches include delicacies like spider crab and land seal. But not everything caught here can be sold.
Yeah,
Troubled by
that's
such
better.
risks, fish merchant
You can
Hannah
see
Mazar
the.
wondered if there wasn't a way to leverage surplus cash.
Let me make it bigger if I can.
Unsold items are kept in this refrigerated warehouse.
You cannot
These
see,
are deep
but
sea sharks from Suruga
that's
Bay.
the receipt from Walmart store
Dogfish
number
shells
four
like
four
these
four
have more
five
value
for
than edible seafood. But Aoyama hopes they might be able to get some of this as
$89.94.
fish leather.
That's the price that they
Deep sea fish don't
make
have
you
much
pay
monetary worth, so
because you
their
got
skin
no
is
choice
disposable.
as a
But they're a
vaccine
finite
booster.
natural resource, and they can't be farmed. I believe we should place more value on them.
She discusses the situation in a conference call with Noguchi.
Once they've been brought up, many deep sea fish simply can't survive like surface varieties. They'll die even if we put them back. So I wish we could make better use of those.
And that's my current events. That's a the healthcare is ever since the pandemic 2020. It's been insane. Customers you had for years just totally disappear.
I have to admit that I haven't had
Clients
that
just
much
totally
experience
disappear.
using deep sea fish to make leather.
And that's how powerful
So
the
these are
propaganda
uncharted waters.
is. They just
But
totally
let's give it a try and
disappear
see what
after
happens.
years.
Thanks for today.
That's what's so scary about this
A week later,
pandemic. At any time, clients can disappear
and the chilled
at
dogfish
any
soup
time
awaits at
with the
Noguchi's home.
flick of a switch.
It does look quite similar to sharks I've worked with before.
He soon gets down to skinning this trial specimen. Sharks have thicker hide than most bony fish.
They have rather tough skin, so it's quite well suited to leather.
Once the shark is skinned, he treats the hide to remove any remaining fat. But he soon runs into problems.
I'm afraid I messed up with this shark skin.
In his first experiment processing deep shark skin, Noguchi miscalculated when setting the hide in citrus to prepare for tanning. The end result was floaty and fragile.
The thickness is one issue. It's a lot thicker than the amberjack cream I usually wear. It's not uncommon to slip up at this stage. So I was trying to take extra care, but I didn't expect this reaction.
2 weeks later, and Noguchi has been hard at work decided to accentuate this quality using a black dye.
Kuna
This far, so I don't see
Tui
any more slip-ups.
Dima.
It's a big relief.
All that remains is to decide
The party's about ready.
Yeah.
Do you want to be over this party?
Yeah. Outside they have Cher playing,
to utilize as much
have Cher playing on the radio.
Yeah. Yes.
and after several hours of intense concentration,
Shark skin has a unique texture.
P3 has a new T-shirt
the final prototype
for sale. You want to see it?
mortgages around crazy and unique
It looks good. It's blue, white, and red. It says Team Viewer.
I've come up with a prototype product.
There are a couple logos too.
Sure. You drop something here again?
Yes,
wow,
Uh,
the key face?
yeah.
that's right.
So-
It is. Can you see it okay?
Yeah.
If you can see, the outer surface has a kind of raised
Let me see.
which
27.
depending on the angle.
P3 is feeling grateful.
Right, I think I can see that. It's an unusual pattern. It's fantastic. I'm blown away by how nice it is.
Thank you. I'll send it over.
I have a passion for deep sea fish. I see them as a local treasure. And I hope we can promote that idea by getting behind local fish leather. Noguchi Tomohisa has demonstrated yet again that even the most overlooked fish have potential as fish leather. And his next goal is to communicate that potential to a global audience.
Man, good luck.
I really do think fish leather has much more diversity and local color than other animal hides. There are still so many species of fish that I haven't worked with yet. But I see those ties to particular fishing locations as a major part of fishing.
So Ron has some water here
Okay,
that make you feel much better.
I'm sure I
after
will.
with ice.
And we're set up for the next few weeks, or
Next Saturday, the second, the
okay,
home game at 9 o'clock.
okay,
And, the week after, it's 1 o'clock.
okay.
Saturday night.
All right. Thanks, bud. Have a good day.
You too.
El bullying empezó a los 14 años, en el colegio se me borda casi todos los días o hacer algún chiste sobre mi apariencia, a ya cosas más físicas, en donde por ahí me medían la espalda con una regla, o dibujaban en el pizarrón una ladera de dos puertas, con dos brazos, dos piernas y una cabeza de decía Jenny, a decir de María, así como el fútbol, me quedaba a meter con zapatos, y un chico momento muy marcado en el que me decía, fue potenciar todas mis inseguridades hasta llegué a pensar me mataba, iba a hacer una nota, que era por las cosas que estaban pasando en el colegio, por lo que los chicos estaban haciendo. Nunca pude pedir ayuda porque me generaba muchísima vergüenza y la aislación, me sentía muy sola en lo que me estaba pasando. Y no hablé y no se lo conté a nadie hasta que cumplí 30 años. Y ahí pude ir primero perdonando mi cuerpo y después dándome cuenta que no había nada que perdonar. El deporte fue mi primera salida de la situación de bullying
me iba a entrenar a la pista y sentía una alegría y una condición muy diferente. Y es muy lindo hoy poder ser un ejemplo que yo nunca tuve. El lanzamiento del martillo a mí me representa amor de vida, simplemente
Yeah,
pegarlo a mi cuerpo.
just a second, I have to decontaminate the room.
Tener un cuerpo llamativo, representar a mi país en los Juegos Olímpicos, en vivir mis sueños plenamente, fue gracias a mi cuerpo.
Making information accessible to everyone is especially critical during a global pandemic. Before COVID, only 1 in 4 press conferences by Japan's prefectures featured sign language interpreters. But prefectures responded to calls from the hearing impaired, and every press conference during 2020 included sign language support. Now an effort is underway to deliver sign language support to every corner of Japan. Artists are working to overcome communication barriers with sign language. The world of theater is moving toward greater inclusiveness. Amid the struggle against COVID, people are reaching out. Walls are coming down. Let's look and listen. I'm Fabio, your navigator on this journey. With COVID forcing everyone to distance socially, barrier-free communication is more important than ever. Sign language interpreters are a case in point. People are developing innovative ways to deliver interpreter support where it's needed.
本日面接を担当します人事部の田中です。緊張されていますか？
Yeah, the PPE, the important thing is decontaminate every surface
This is a simulated online
after your client leaves. That way we don't spread COVID-19.
With more interviews happening over video conferences, remote interpreters play a key support role. This interpreter is part of a small
That's just one of the contactless no protocols that we have to do, that we must do.
in universal design for buildings and dispatching sign language interpreters. They launched their remote sign language interpreting service in April 2020 as infections climbed. The company realized that COVID requirements made it
Yeah, I'm
challenging
just
for people with hearing impairments to communicate. Fukushima Naoto came up with the idea for the service.
聴覚障害のある方の中には、この口の形を読み取る口話という方法を使って話をしている方が多いので、やっぱりこうマスクをしているということ口が見えないというのが困っている。
I like to keep it running for a couple hours, but
It's a secret system to help hearing impaired patients and doctors communicate.
I'm sorry, we're very busy today.
Works in the hospital's
Uh,
rehabilitation
I
department.
have to end my stream.
Is hearing impaired herself.
Thank you all very much for watching.
She hosted a conference where hearing
And wherever you are in the world,
over Japan to discuss treatment
stay
strategies
safe.
during the pandemic.
Thank you for
Adopting remote
watching.
sign language support
And don't
allowed
forget
companies
to hit the
assist
subscribe button and a like button and buy me a cup of coffee if it's useful, the information. Thank you. Bye. See you next time.